Welcome back to the next in my series of Roll20 videos about the very basics of using Roll20 to play D&D. In this one I'm just going to cover the quintessential how do I do X on my character when I'm playing a character. And I've got a character here, my Dread Pirate Roberts, selected, and he's in the tavern room, and I'm just going to muck around and do a few things with them just to show you how it works essentially. First things first, let's have a quick look at what my toolbars and stuff look like. I have my select and pan, so if I want to select my token I need to make sure that I want the select option. Pan would let me drag the map back and forth, but I can also do that with a right click, hold and drag. So I tend to stick in select mode there. If I feel like drawing, then I've got the draw tool here. I'm not going to worry about doing that too much on this one, but it works. This is just a zoom tool. This one's kind of fun. It is the measuring tool. So if I select this one, what I can do with this one is quite fun. If I click on my token and I want to see how far it is to the door from there, I'm just holding down the mouse button and dragging my cursor around, and it's telling me that it's 15 feet to get to the door from here. But there is a table in the way, so what I'm actually going to do is a slightly other sort of route finding way, which is if I click on my token and pull to that square, because I can go to there, and then still with my finger on the left mouse button, if I press the right mouse button, it lets me add a waypoint, and again, and again. So actually, if I was working out how far I would have to move before I move, that's going to take me 20 feet of movement to get to that square following that path. That's quite fun. Useful again if you're looking for how far can I get, can I reach that goblin in time, what's the range on my spell. This measuring tool, really, really useful. Then we have the dice rolling tool. Now, a lot of the dice rolls you do in the game will be done from your character sheet as a preference, but if for some reason you need to just roll a d6 to do something, or you've taken an amount of falling damage and that's not a thing which is generally on the character sheet, so I need to just roll some dice, I can choose the combination of dice I want from here. So if I want to roll 3d6 having fallen 30 feet, I select d6, I select 3 of them, click on that, and down here it will tell me that it's 9 damage. Anytime I roll a minimum on a dice it comes up in red, anytime I roll a maximum on a dice it comes up in green, just so you know. Across the top over here, the default that I'm on is the chat window, and that's where dice rolls will go. If I share any of my abilities on my character sheet, they'll appear in the chat here, there as well. So that's our main place to be. Also, though, we have our journal tab, and in there, any characters associated with your account will show up, and any handouts generated for shared to your account will also show up in there as well. So I've got a handout from chapter 1 of this adventure, and it's about Baldur's Gate, and I can click to see that there, and I can see the pretty picture, and any text which has been shared to the players will show up in that, and I can close the window from there. We then have the Compendium. Really, really useful. Again, depends on how you're set up in the game. The GM here has shared, that's me, has shared his Compendium with me. I mean, I know I'm the same person, but this is true in the game as well. I have shared my Compendium with my players. So if I want to look up how the spell Guiding Bolt works, Guiding Bolt, I can search for that in there. It will find it. I can click on it, and there we go. There's a reminder of how that spell works, which is quite neat. So I've popped back to my chat because the rest of this is simple stuff. Let's talk about moving my character around. Click to select my token. Oops. First being the select tool, click to select my token, and then I can drag him around. He's walking in front of the window. Or I can use my cursor keys. If I'm just moving left or right, up and down, then I can just use my cursor keys happily as well. So that works fine. How do I take damage? Well, I've set it up so that the green bubble here above my token's head is his current hit points. So having selected him, if he's taken 3 damage, then I can just click in the green bubble, -3, press enter, and he's now got 6 hit points left. How do I get healing? Well, if someone casts a cure spell on me, then again I can click in the bubble and type in +3 and enter, and that will take me back up to 9 hit points in there. So that's very, very easy to do. Most of the rest of the actions I want to take are probably going to be in my character sheet. So again, I've talked about this a couple of times, but there are 2 ways of doing this. If I've got my token already selected, then I can hold down the Shift key and double click on the token, and it will open up the character sheet window. Alternatively, I can go to my journal and click him there. But actually, I quite like the Shift double click thing on the token because it means I can stay in the chat window here. So Shift double click on the token, opens up the token, and then I go to my character sheet, and I've got my spells selected at the moment, but that's all right. Let me go to the core. And very, very simple stuff. How do I make, I don't know, how to make an athletics check? If I want to jump up on the table, there we have my athletics. When I move my cursor over it, it goes in red. If I click on that, it rolls my athletics check over here. So a 10, or if I had an advantage, then a 22. But a 10 is probably enough to jump on the table, so that's probably fine. If I need to make a saving throw, then I've got my saving throws here. So if I need to make a wisdom save, click on the wisdom, and that will roll there. 15, or if I had a disadvantage, 6. Notice in red because I rolled a 1 on there. And again, I've said this before, but if you point your cursor at any of the results of a roll, it will show you what actually happened in the roll there. So I rolled a 1 plus 5 because of my wisdom bonus on my saving throw. Then that's given me a 6. If I want to make an attack, assuming that my weapon of choice is in my attack box here, which it normally will be, I can click on the weapon. That makes it... Wow, that really is one extreme to the other. I rolled a 1, or I've critically hit, depending on whether I had advantage or not. Let's assume I had advantage on this. I can click on my mace down here to do the damage for it. And it does 6 damage, and if I've done a crit, an extra 1 in this case. So that's 7 points in total. If I want to use one of my standard spells, again, in my little attack box here, if this is an attacky kind of thing, then I can click in my guiding bolt there. It rolled a 13 to hit, and assuming that was enough, I can click on the guiding bolt to do the damage. I'll cast it as level 1, so submit on that, and it's done 11 damage. 5, 3, 1, and 2 in total. Of course, if I have cast that spell, for completeness sake, I should probably go to my spells and note that I only have 1 spell box remaining at first level, because I've used one of my first level spells. If I want to use a spell which isn't in my standard attack powers thing there, then I can do it from here. If I am just going to cast Fog Cloud, cast it as level 1, that has shared the description of that spell to the chat, so other players and the GM can see it. and the GM can deal with that however he wants. To create a 20-foot radius sphere of the fog. Okay, well, why not do that on the map? So that one we might use my drawing tool. I'm going to draw a shape. I want to draw my circle. Let's, to completeness sake, I'm going to draw my circle. There we go, 20-foot radius, give or take. Oops. So there we go. Just a couple of other things, actually. Firstly, if I want to roll initiative, my initiative is up here. But I should really wait for my GM to have the turn order window open. So I'm not going to click it right now. But if I'm ready to roll initiative, I would just click on the initiative there. And it would roll it. And if the turn order window is open, it would add it up to the turn order. If I have a new piece of equipment that I want to add to my character sheet, let me find potion of healing. Got a potion of healing there. I can add it to my inventory by dragging it and dropping it, and it will add it into my inventory. There we go. Last but by no means least, again, if you've got an ability on your character sheet that you want to share with the group, you don't have to be in the chat, it'll go to their chats. But if I want to share what my Wrath of the Storm ability does, when I point at it, I've got my little speech bubble, so I can click on that and that will share it to the group. If I just want to see it myself on my character sheet, I can just click on its name and that will open it up here on my character, so I can read it without necessarily spamming the chat with that information. So there we go, that is the very fundamentals of how I use my character in Roll20. Thanks for watching, hope that was useful, and I will catch you again later. Cheers.